This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
So we'll start with the CSS borders. So previously I have shown you some simple examples of border. Okay, now normally when you give a border, let's say for a div or for a paragraph, you specify a margin of 10 pixel, and then you say you will specify a border of thickness 20 pixel, and then you give a padding of 10 pixel. The margin will be applied, right? Okay, if I have given at the margin of size 10 pixel, the margin will be applied. Next, the border will be applied. Let's say if the thickness is 10, it will be applied. Then padding. Let's say I want a space between the border and the content. So then the padding will be applied. Then only your content will be displayed, right? This is applicable for all the four sides: top, bottom, left, and right. Okay, and we have also seen that for margins, for a top, bottom, and left and right, I can give the same value or different values also. Okay, and we also saw the different types of borders yesterday. Okay, dotted, dashed, etc., and everything. Now we'll see how to make your borders, the corner of your borders, rounded. So yeah, what we saw yesterday was a rectangular border. Now what I want is, I want to apply, let's say I want to make the edges of the border curved, right? We'll be using this with a property called as radius. Border top radius, border top left, top right, bottom left, like this. When you specify the radius of, let's say, 40 pixel, so it'll make the border curved with 40 pixel. Okay, let's see an example for this. So we also saw how to give the color to the border yesterday. Now for all the four corners, I can give a different width. I think did we discuss it yesterday? Yes. Okay, then now we'll see how to make the border curved. Now when you look at this web page, I've applied a border, right? Border radius I've given 10 pixel. So you will see the edges of the rectangle will be slightly curved. When I increase the radius, now here I've made it 100 pixel. So it will be like you'll be seeing almost a full curve. The curve will be deeper. Now suppose, let's say I want, if I give the border radius as 50%, I'll get a circle itself instead of the rectangle. Let's look at the example. Okay, border radius. So you can get, let's say, give the padding and everything. So what I have two paragraphs here. For the first one, let's say make the border radius as 10 pixel. Second one, 100 pixel. Now you see you get a rectangular border with a curved edges. Now for the third one, okay, div, what I have given is, I've just given border radius, I've made it 50%. So this will make all the four corners with a maximum possible curve, and then your final shape will be converted into a proper circle. Okay, and basically this is how your curved property works. Now when you, okay, now we'll come to this. So, and you can also give a different curvature for all the four borders. So it's not that you have to give the same radius for all the four borders. You can give the same radius, or it can also be different. So depending on the value you specify, the radius will be applied. Okay. Now when you look at the output of this border radius 10 pixel, you get only a slight curve. Okay, so let's say a rectangle with a slight curvature in the border. Then for the next one, I've increased the curvature. Then when I make, let's say, 50% border radius, the shape will be converted to a circle. Clear? And for all that, I've given the border style solid. So using this property, you can make, let's say when you're displaying some text in a paragraph or in a block. So you can make the edges curved instead of a perfect rectangle. Clear? So I've given the background color, padding, margin, alignment and everything. We have discussed all these properties before. The only new property is border radius. Right? Write down. And you can specify the radius either in pixel or point or percentage. Any unit of measurement can be given. So in this example, I've just given a single value for the radius. So that will be applied to all the four corners. Okay, I'll scroll down. Okay, let's move on to the next example. Now in this example, I've given a different radius for all the four corners. Okay, fine. So for the first, so the border radius has got, as seen previously for padding and margin, a single value syntax, two value syntax, three values and four values. Right. Now when I say single value, the same radius will be applied to all the four corners. Now when I apply to, let's say, give two values. So for the top left and bottom right, the first value will be applied, second value will be applied for the other opposite corners. So when you give, let's say, the three different values, okay, the first value will be taken for the what, the top left, and then the second value will be taken for this the opposite, diagonally opposite corners, and finally for the bottom right corner. Okay, so this is how we specify the values. The same way we did for margins and padding. So border radius, let's say in the first example, I've given just a single value in pixels. So the second one I've given, let's say, two values with percentage. And the third example I've given, let's say, four values. And let's say you can also mix the units. See in this for the ID3, I've given 30, the one radius in pixel, one radius in EM, and the other one in percentage. So you can freely mix and match with the unit of measurements. And you can also give in centimeters if you like, right? So depending on the values will give. When you give the value for all the four corners, the exact value you give will be applied. So you will get very interesting shapes if you give, let's say, a different radius for the corners. Okay. So for margin, padding, border, and then the border shadow, box shadow, for everything, this syntax is available. One value, two value, three value, and four value. Syntax is available. See for the div, I have given the width as 300 pixels. So in one, let's say first it displays the first box and the second box. So since I say I restricted the width to 600, there is no space available in this div. Then it comes to the next line and displays the boxes, right? That is how you get the two column boxes. Right, let's scroll down. And you see, I've given the paragraph tag within the div. So for the paragraph, I've given a style that is applied for the paragraph, and the style I've given for div is applied to everything which is contained in the div. Right? We'll move to the next topic. Okay, just for one single corner also, if I like, I can apply the border radius. So here, let's say I've given, so for this purpose, instead of giving border radius, you use border bottom left. So you can use this bottom left, bottom right, top left and top right. In case you want to give the radius only for a particular corner. Otherwise, you can just say border radius. Clear? So if you just say border radius, this will be applied for all the four corners. Now I want it to be applied only for a particular corner. You have to describe clearly for which corner this needs to be applied. Over. We'll move to the next example. Okay, when you are using the specifying the color for a border, you can give the color either in the name of the color, or you can give the RGB values or hex values. And apart from that, there is a property called as current color. Now, for this div, I specified a background color and then the color. So this color, the blue, will be applied for the text. So when I want the same blue to be applied for my border. So again, instead of specifying blue, I can say current color. The current color will always refer to the text color or the foreground color. So now you see the same text color, the navy blue, is applied for the border also. Okay, so in case you're specifying, let's say the RGB or the hexadecimal values, you can, the current color property will be more convenient instead of typing the color again. right? Okay, let's move to the next example. Okay, next we'll start with shadows. So when you apply, let's say, a border, you can also apply shadow. So what do you mean by a shadow? The shadow is nothing but a reflection. Now let's say when you keep, let's say, your mobile phone or anything on the, on a glass table, or let's say, what you'll see a reflection on all the four corners. You will see a reflection. I can apply that type of shadow effect to the different HTML elements. So when I add a border, I can also add a shadow for the border. Now when you look at the shadow property, okay, there will be, you need to specify 5 different values. Okay, and there will be a 6th value also. I will tell you what it is later. Then horizontal offset, that is what should be the horizontal thickness for the shadow, and then the vertical thickness for the shadow. Blur radius, what do you mean by blurring? Blur means what? Blur means reducing the detail. So when you feel that it is too thick, the color is too thick or gaudy, you can apply a blur ray, let's say, to reduce the intensity. Then spread radius, that is how much the shadow should be spread. Then the color of the shadow. And apart from this, you can specify a property called as inset. So when you say, normally by default the shadow will be displayed outside the border, so that means you have a light source, and if the light source directly falls on the object, you'll get it on the corners, it will give that effect. Now when I say inset, the shadow will be displayed inside the HTML element. So here are some of the example I'll show you. So once you have, let's say, this box, okay, you can add a subtle shadow, then you can add the thickness or the blur, and then you can specify whether it should be inset or outside, and you can control where exactly it should appear. So basically we use shadows to give a 3-dimensional effect or a depth to an HTML element. So this is a very simple example. Okay, now you can, let's say, give the box shadow, and then here also you have this single value and box shadow. This is for the horizontal and vertical offset, and this is for the horizontal offset, vertical offset, blur, and then the spread. So if you don't give any color Okay, by default, what color will be the shadow? It will be displayed in black. Now you want to apply any particular color. You can give the color for the shadow. I've given gray, it is displayed in gray color. Now, for example, when I say red, the shadow will be displayed in red color. I'll refresh it. Right? So you can specify the color for the shadow. Clear? Fine. We'll go to the next example. Okay, now I'm just displaying a simple border. Okay, and let's say I've given a background color for my web page, and against the background color I'm displaying the box with a white color, and then I've applied a shadow for this. So now I'll show you how you can control the spacing and then the properties by varying these parameters. Okay, and box shadow, you can also apply multiple shadows for a single box. That we'll look at it in the next example, right? Okay, fine. Now I'll take this. So box shadow 20 pixel, 20 pixel. I've given the red color. Now you see, without, so here what I have given is I have not given any value for the blur. You know, the first one, 20 pixel, refers to the horizontal offset and the vertical offset, and then let's say the color. So now you see the shadows and all will not, the blur effect will not be there. Your shadow will appear as a solid one. Okay, now when you want to make the shadow look more realistic, So what I mean by shadow, it will not be the same as the original object. You can add a blur. So next we see how it appears when you add a blur. Now I've given the horizontal offset as 20 pixel, vertical offset 20 pixel. This is the blur and then the color. Now you see how it appears, right? Since I've given a blur, okay, you see the edges are blurred. So okay, so blur means what? When you look at the box closer to the box, the color will be solid, but gradually when it moves outwards, the color intensity will decrease. So this is how a real shadow will appear. To make the shadow look realistic, we give this blur, and if you want, you can also give the color as black. Here we will see I've given the color as black. Now still, if I want to reduce it, I can say the blur, I make it 60 pixel instead of 20 pixel. Now you see how it appears. Fine. Still it is blurred more. So and I decrease the horizontal offset. Let's say if I want, I can also make it 0. So now I say 0, 20 pixel, 60 pixel black. Okay, now I just make it 20 pixel. Horizontal offset, I've made it 0. Now you see how it appears. So horizontally, you don't see this, right? Then, okay, this also I can make it 0. Horizontal and vertical. Okay, then I have, let's say, this blur and then the color. Reload, right? Then let's say I can specify the, okay, offset, vertical, blur, spread. So spread, I say 10 pixel. Since I've given a value of spread, you see the shadow is spreading. Now I'll show you more clearly. I'll give the value as 60, spread as 60. Now you just see, right? So this is how the spread works. The spread defines how wide you want the shadow to be spread, right? Okay, then instead of giving this color as black, if I give the RGB values, I can specify the opacity. What do I mean by opacity? What do you mean by transparent? What do you mean by opaque? Tell me. Come on, what do you mean by transparent? Tell me. Anyone? Yes. What is meant by transparency or transparent? So you have a plastic sheet. Okay, I say it is transparent. Why? Because if I place the plastic sheet on top of a paper, I'll be able to see the entire contents. That is what you mean by transparent. Now, when I apply more transparency to a particular color, so the color shade will be lighter. Now here see I have given black. Okay, it is displayed in solid black, right? But I don't want the dark colored black. I want to apply a lighter version of black. But when I give the color name as it is, I cannot control that property. So to control this property, you need to give the RGB values. You need to use this RGBA. Now here you see I'll uncomment the first line. So the first parameter 0, horizontal offset I've given 0, vertical offset 0. Okay, this is the value we usually give. And then the blur is 20 pixel, spread is 0, and then the black color, I've given this 0.5 to make it, to reduce the intensity of black, or you make it lighter. Okay, now you see, and I've also given this inset. I'll remove the inset now. Just see how it looks. Right? Now the shadow appears more realistic, right? Because I've given 0, 0, 0 represents the black color. Now when I say 0.5, transparency I've made, let's say 0.5. So it is showing you the lighter version of black, right? Okay, now when I say inset, let us see what is meant by inset. Now, when normally when you display, it will display the shadow outside the element. That means the light source is coming from outside. Now, moment I say inset, the shadow will be displayed inside the element. Now, in this case, it is being displayed inside the box, right? Okay, you write down and try out all the variations I have given. Right. Scroll down now. And the code tag I've given here is a semantic tag. I'll explain it in the next class, what it is. Over. Now here you see I've applied two different shadows for this box. Are you able to see? The one first you have this black colored shadow followed by another shadow, black and red. So when you want to specify multiple shadows, first what you do is in the box shadow property, specify the first shadow. Okay, you can give the offset color and everything. Instead of ending it with a semicolon, give a comma and then you specify the next shadow. Okay, you observe it carefully. The first I've given 20 pixel black. So it is displayed, okay, first. Then I've given 30 pixel red. So in the red, you're able to see only 10 pixel because below that black, the red will be displayed. So if this offset is less than that, you won't be able to see the here like the red color shadow at all. For example, you see, I say 20. Horizontal and vertical offset, I make 20. Okay. So this also I make 20. Now you won't be able to see the red colored shadow at all. So because the spread is lesser than the previous one. So remember, when you're specifying the outer shadows, they should be bigger than the inner ones. Right? Now you will be able to see. Okay? Remember this. Scroll down. Fine. We'll go to the next example. Fine. So here I'm displaying two different boxes, right? And you see for the first box, I'm displaying, let's say, a shadow. For the second one also, I'm displaying the same shadow. I've given, let's say, a set of values for the first and the second one. Now, when you compare the values, for the second one, I've given a lower I've given an inset. I've given a lower values for offset, RGB, everything. So here the effect is the effect is not applied much. You just see a normal, let's say, a shadow. That's it. But here the first one appears with more depth. See, because here I've given 60 pixel. Okay, with the vertical offset. Now here you see it appears, let's say you have an elevation for this box, right? So by controlling, so instead of 60 pixels, I say 40, for example. Now you see the elevation will be reduced. So here it looks something like a three-dimensional box. Here it looks like a normal your HTML element with a slight shadow in it. So the purpose of giving, let's say, this a shadow is that to create, let's say, elements with three-dimensional effects. That's it. Just to make a comparison, I've done this. And for the box, I've given the float as left so that the two boxes appear next to each other. You comment the box shadow, uncomment the inset and try and see how it appears with the inset. Okay, now when you look at this div, the class I have given box and then box higher. That means I'm applying the properties of two different classes. Box is a class which defines the general properties for both the boxes, and then the box lower. This is I'm applying a specific shadow. So here when you want the styles of multiple classes to be applied to an element, give all the class names separated by a space. Fine. Now let's see how to scale the box in response to a mouse hover. Okay, here I have, let's say, a box element and I applied a shadow. Now I move the mouse pointer over that. We're able to see the size of the box and the shadow increases. When I take the mouse out, it comes back to the original, okay, size, and the shadow is also reduced, right? So you can apply these type of 3D effects using CSS by giving some extra properties. Okay, now when I'm giving the box, I've given the box shadow, then I'm using this property transition transform. So what do you mean by transition? So when you want an element to be transferred from one state to another state, that is a transition. Now you see when you heat the water, okay, more than 100 degree, what happens? It converts into the vapor. So transform, and then how long the transformation should exist? 300 milliseconds. And for what transformation? Box shadow, right? So you give, let's say, your all the properties for your normal shadow, then box colon hover. So this specifies what should be applied, okay, when the mouse pointer moves over the box. So I've given scale 1.1. So the size is transformed to 110%, from 100 to 110, and then the size of the shadow also I'm increasing. So here I have 5 pixels, here 15 pixels, and so on, right? So you can apply this type of effects using this transform property, right? Over. Now, let's say you have a HTML element and you want to apply different, I mean, 2, 3 different borders with different colors. You can do it with a box shadow effect. Okay, so what you can do is box shadow. I've given, let's say, this inset. You give, let's say, the values and everything. Then, okay, the spread, and then I've given just the color name red. So first the red color is applied. Then the pink color border I've given 40 pixel. Okay, because the 20 will be taken up by the red color. Okay, so gradually you should keep on increasing the size, other spread. Otherwise, if I give this also as 20, you won't be able to see the pink color at all because that is hidden within this red. So here I say 40. So in effect, this is something like giving 20 pixel red border followed by 40 pixel pink, etc. Right? Here I have given 60 for green. So only 20 pixel will be visible because so it will start from here. The red, it will be the 40 pixel will be hidden by this red color and the pink color. Right? So if you want, you can keep adding more borders in this way. Right now. And you have to separate everything by a comma. Finally, you have to give the semicolon. Instead of comma, if you give a semicolon, it will not work properly. Okay, fine. So next we'll begin with this tables, HTML tables. Okay, now when you want to present some information in a tabular format with, let's say, rows and columns, we'll be using the HTML table. Okay, so you have the HTML table tag to create a table, and then you have the TR, that is a table row, and then TD, table data. Okay, then you also have a tag called as TH, that is for giving column heading. Okay, fine. Now you can specify the spacing between the cells, and then the padding for each and every cell. So what I mean by a cell is an intersection of a row and a column. Now the important thing you need to remember is that when you are constructing a table, you will be thinking of only in terms of rows, not in column. Now for example, I want to create a table with 3 rows and 3 columns. So you just think it of as made up of 3 rows. Okay, so the first row, so what is the first cell? What goes into the first cell? What goes into the second cell, third cell, and so on. So you construct it row by row. So the in HTML, tables are made up of rows and not column. And in HTML5, you have these 3 additional tags called as T head, T body, and T footer. So in the T head section, you can give the headings for the columns. The T body contains the table detail. In the T footer, you can display some total or something. Okay, fine. Then, so this is basically the column heading will go into under the T head. So there's the detail rows will go into the T body, and then the last one will go into the footer, table footer. Okay, fine. Now I'll show you, let's say, how to create a simple table. Fine. Now let's see how to create a HTML5 table. First, you need to give the table tag. Then I give the T head followed and it's not necessary that you need to have a footer. I can just have a table with table header and table body. Having a footer is optional. So in case you're displaying some total or something, you can have the table footer, right? Okay. Now, okay, table head. Let's say, let us create a table with 3 rows and 3 columns. Let's assume that, let's say that you're creating a product description. Assume that, let's say, a company, a departmental store is selling the product. You're creating a table to display the item and the product description and the price. Okay, so I want to have a heading. So what I do is I give TR. TR stands for table row, right? Now I give the TR tag. Under the table heading also, I'll be giving the TR. Under the T body also, I'll be giving TR. Okay, and if you want for better understanding, I'll nest it. So table row, and then since this is going to be the heading for the columns, I gave TH. TH stands for table heading. Okay, so the first column I want to give, let's say, the product ID. So I say ID. Then second column, I want to give the heading as description. TH price. Okay, fine. Now let us see how it looks. I've just given a heading, nothing else. So you see, whatever I've given, since I have used TH, it is displayed in bold letters, right? Okay, fine. Now let us come to the table body. And then here to describe the table row, here I say TD instead of TH. TD stands for table data. So the first row is the heading row. Okay. So I give TD. So I give the product ID. Let's say I say A001. Description. So price. So I say 250. Now I've saved it. Let us refresh the page and see. Right? Now here you see I have one heading row and then I have one detail row. Right? Okay, fine. So A001, I want to add one more product. Let us add totally three products. Okay, now again I use the TR. If you look at the difference between TH, see TR stands for table row. For the first row, I've given the TH tag. When I give TH, it is displayed in bold since it is a heading. Since this is the actual data, it is displayed as it is without the bold font. Fine, that's the difference between TH and TD. Okay, now I display the second product. Now I say optical mouse 500 and let me add one more row. So I have added three detail rows here. Now let us see how the table looks. right? This is how the table looks. But is the information displayed? Do you find it, let's say, presentable and nice? Does it look like a normal table you see in newspapers and websites? Tell me yes or no.
No, ma'am.
So what I have to do? I have just used HTML. I have not done any styling. So what I've done is I've described the structure of the table. My first row is a heading row and followed by 3 detailed rows. Now, when I have to display the table in a presentable format, what do I have to do? Tell me, what should I do? Tell me.
Borders.
What I have to do, I have to style it using CSS, right? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So till now we have been learning so many formatting tags, right? So what all we have learned, how to add a border, then how to add a border shadow, how to specify the color, right? How to describe the, change the font settings, how to make the alignment, all everything we have learned till now, we have to apply to this table. Then only this will look like a table, then only it will be presentable. So that is what I've been telling you, right? HTML will only describe the structure. I have just described the table structure. This is what is my table heading. This is my table data. The work of HTML is over. Now, to make it presentable, I need to work on CSS, right? Okay, I can also add a caption to a table if I want. Fine. So I have a table heading, right? And then I have a, let's say, column heading. I have everything. Now, let's say everything which we can do with HTML we have done. Now we need to add a style. Now you people are going to tell me what are all the style and what I need to do. Fine. Tell me what to do, because I've taught you everything in CSS, right? How to, let's say, change the font, text display, text settings, colors, background color, everything I've told you. Now tell me how to style this table. Tell me what I have to do first. What I have to do? Okay, I'll tell you. I'll format the caption. Okay. Now tell me how to make this table look like a table. First thing what I should do. Tell me. Nearly 10, 11 programs we have done till now, right? Today what we have learned? Today what are the topics we have learned? Tell me first.
Ma'am, we have to put the margin.
Margin we have learned in the last class. Today what we have learned? Today we have learned about borders and border shading, right? Now I have to give a border for my table. How do I give? Tell me. I've told you how to specify the thickness, how to specify the color, corner roundness, so many things I've told you, right? Now I want a border. Tell me what I need to write in the style sheet. So you people should be able to tell me now, what is the selector I need to give? So I want a border around this table. Tell me what I need to do. Come on, I'll just type whatever you people tell me. So to give a to apply a border to the table, what I have to do? Tell me now, what is a selector? Look at the programs you have written and then tell me what I need to give here. Look at this example I've shown you, right? How to apply so many different types of borders, right? Then how to and how it is written. Now what I need to do? What is the selector you need to give here? Tell me. For which element I want to apply a border? For which element I should apply a border? Here, tell me.
Table is a selector.
Yes, table is a selector. Good. Then border. Okay, I have a border around the table. Is it enough?
Ma'am, then we use TR for the rows.
Yes, I need to add the border to the rows. Okay, for this purpose, what should be the selector?
TR.
Can I combine the selectors? Am I getting it? No, right? Am I getting it? No. Border is not for the rows. Then what I need to do? Then it should be TH and TD. Right? I've got a border, but how does it look? It looks very ugly, right? Yes or no? I have an outer border, each and every element I have there's all these two rectangles. Does it look good?
Oh, ma'am.
Doesn't. So what I need to do? So I need to specify a property for the border collapse. Does it look better now?
Yes, ma'am.
Does it look better? Okay, fine. So write down this in the Next Monday, we'll see how to, let's say, make it a nice looking table. Something like this. Right? So we are going to make the table like this by adding all the CSS properties. Okay, we'll do it on Monday. Now write down this. This is the basic table. And for the heading, you need to specify the font. For the TD, you need to specify the font. And then you need to do a lot of things to make it look nice, fancy looking table. Write down this. Even the caption is also optional. If you want to skip it, you can skip it. But you need to have this header section and the body section in all the tables. So the table row TR tag will appear both in the header, body as well as in the footer. Right? TR basically describes the row. Now for the table column heading also, since you have 3 columns, you need to have a row with 3 columns to specify the heading. And when you add a footer to the table, in the footer also you will have 3 columns. So the TR is a common tag that appears in all the 3 sections of the table: header, body as well as the footer. Okay, over. Now, I want to give a background color for the table. Okay, where I should give the background color property? Tell me. So go through your code and tell me to give the background color property. What should be the selector? Come on, tell me.
Ma'am, just background and color.
Okay, where I should give? With which selector I should give?
Under the style selector.
Under the style is the tag. What should be the selector for this background color? Under the style, can I just give background without any selector? Is it right? Will this work? Doesn't work. Under the style tag, you can't give anything. You need to give style sheet rule is what? This is the selector and then the style. So to give a background color, what I should do? Which should be the selector?
Ma'am, under TH, TD,
TH, TD,
you should give background color.
background color. Instead of doing this, why can't I give it with a table tag? See, the entire table, I want the background color, right? Yes or no?
Yes,
Instead of that, I can give it with a table tag. Okay, now for the first column heading, I want to give a different background color. What I should do? See, you have the first row, right? ID, description, price. For this row, I want to give a different background color. For the column heading, where I should give? Where I should give? Okay, you try it out and tell me in the next class, right? And I've given an assignment to you. You people remember?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember? Okay, so you have 2 days, you don't have class, right? Can you people sit and try that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Okay, so have a nice weekend. So then complete your assignment. And if you have any problems in doing that assignment, we'll discuss it on Monday, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, bye. Okay, bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am.